How many of you all remember the Maui fires? Let me know down in the comments below. It was a story that I personally covered extensively across multiple YouTube channels, literally for months on end. If you don't know about the story, or if you haven't seen those videos, go check it out, because the details will blow your mind. But long story short, there was this crazy fire that wiped out basically all of Lahaina, a large portion of Maui. But it just so happens that before that fire, for a couple of years leading up to the fire, these billionaire elites were coming into Maui, buying up all the land they could. I'm talking people like Oprah, people like Mark Zuckerberg, the creator of Facebook. They were buying up all the land, and they wanted to buy more land. But a lot of the people who lived there, they were refusing to sell because they had been living there their entire life. Their parents lived there, their grandparents, their ancestors. It was their land. But all of these billionaire elites were trying to come in and basically buy up the island. And then a billionaire came in with a proposal, basically trying to buy out entire neighborhoods so he could replace them with these high-rise resorts right on the beach. Well, once again, the residents of the area refused to sell their land, and they refused to sell their homes. They all came together and decided, hey, we're not going to budge. It doesn't matter how much money they throw at us. Well, of course, a couple of months later, this wildfire breaks out, and it wipes out the entire area. I'm talking whole entire neighborhoods, right? All of the land, all of the homes that these billionaires were trying to buy, they just so happened to get wiped out in this crazy wildfire. And the more you look into the story, the more you realize that this was something that happened on purpose. Because everything that could go wrong that day did go wrong that day. And just like all of these other crazy stories, they want to blame incompetence, but it was much more than that. I mean, as these people were fighting the fires, putting the fire out at their home, in their backyard, what have you, they cut the water off on them so they couldn't fight the fire. And then, I kid you not, you need to go watch these videos. The police blocked escape routes, okay? People were trying to evacuate and leave, and the police blocked the escape routes, redirected tons of people to this one street where they had nowhere to go, nowhere to run but the ocean. They basically blocked every safe way out of there and redirected people to this one street where their backs were against the wall. And it just so happens that the wall was on fire, and the only other option was to jump in the ocean. So hundreds of people had to go jump in the ocean, tread water for hours. A lot of them didn't make it. A lot of them still haven't been found till this day. And you got to understand, this was a crazy fire. You got docks burning. You got boats burning. So even though they're out there pretty deep in the water, there's still embers and flames and hot ashes raining down upon them, smoke so they can't breathe, and they're trying to swim. And till this day, there's kids who have never returned back to the public school system, which is odd because there were hundreds of kids missing that they never really gave updates on. And we know for a fact that a lot of these kids just up and went missing from the public school system, never went back to public school. Now, where did these kids go? No one knows. But entire homes were wiped out, of course, but entire families as well, who were in the homes. So there's a lot of kids who are missing whose parents perished in the fire. It was just really crazy. But the reason why I'm here talking about this is because recently, they've been finding IEDs planted all over Maui. Now, I called it out really early on during the Maui fires that there was something wrong. That this is not, a natural situation that happened. Obviously, there was something flaky, something shady going on. The people on the scene, the first responders, the governor of Hawaii, the mayor, it was a crazy... You just kind of had to be there in the moment, but there was a lot of pushback. And they were calling people conspiracy theorists. They were getting really angry and what have you, because we were exposing a lot of the stuff that was going on out there. But now, fast forward to today, it doesn't look like it was a big conspiracy, right? Because why are they finding these IEDs planted all over Maui? It's really crazy when you think about it, because it seems as if maybe, just maybe, they're trying to spark another wildfire, another random wildfire that wipes out another large portion of Maui that can be replaced with high-rise hotels and resorts. Or maybe Oprah can come up and buy the land for cheap once all of the people get put out of house and home and they're desperate.
Nearby, some hidden, others out in the open. They say the small makeshift baskets range in size and shape, including this cylinder that's about 7 by 4 inches and crudely secured with twine. Investigators are using forensics to try to figure out how these devices were configured to detonate and, of course, who made them. The explosion and discovery of these IEDs comes as the residents of Maui mark 1 year since a devastating fire ripped through Lahaina, killing 102 people and causing $5 billion in damage. And now this. Authorities are asking people to report any suspicious activity and any suspicious objects left out in open places, Trace, especially near a street or a road. We'll be following this story.
Most of the people whose lives were affected by the Maui fires, their lives still haven't gone back to normal. And most of their lives will never go back to normal. There's still people technically missing. There's still remains that were never technically identified. There's still a lot of questions. There's still rebuilding. There's still people out there trying to pick up the pieces and put them back together. Meanwhile, it kind of looks like there's an attempt to have this happen all over again. Now, I don't know if these two situations are connected. I just find it really odd, considering what happened in Lahaina not too long ago. So I hope that they're on top of this, because the last thing we need is another situation like that. One of the most devastating fires in the history of the world, in documented history. So the last thing we need is something like that to happen again. And all it takes, think about it. All it takes is someone flicking a cigarette out their window or something along those lines. So imagine having IEDs planted all over the place. What type of fires could that cause? And also, let's say it's not connected to any of that stuff at all. It's obviously still a crazy situation. Just imagine knowing that in your city there's random devices, let's just say, planted in random places. Who in the heck is doing this? Why haven't they been caught? It's funny because if you run a red light, you're on camera, okay? And you're going to get caught, buddy. But when it comes to stuff like this, they can never find the perpetrator. They can never find who they're looking for. But if it's a petty crime or something stupid, like I said, running a red light or something like that, they're going to find you. They're going to have you on camera, everything. But now we got these devices planted all over Maui. And when I say planted all over Maui, folks, I want you to understand, this is not a contained situation, folks. This is not a contained situation. It's worse than what you have learned in this video, because there's more information that I need to unpack in another video. But for now, let me know your thoughts about all of this down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe, ring that notification bell. And as always, remember to remain opinionated.